Yo, we talking about groceries on FBA. Yo, easy. Yeah. J to the O, the Mayos. Groceries on FBA. What you know about that? Step your game up, suck it.
Hey everybody, welcome. I see people are still coming in, but we're going to get started. You can catch the replay. Tonight I'm pretty excited to be with Nathan Hirsch from FreeeUp. One thing that we really have to deal with as a selling coach and somebody who's helping a whole lot of people is training VAs. It's really a hard, complicated job. They're very wishy-washy, I guess, and they really don't they don't get the importance of everything that you're teaching them. They quit on a dime. They forget what you taught them overnight. And Nathan's run into this problem a lot, so he created a business that finds people who are already trained or trains them for all those kind of jobs that we need as Amazon sellers or whatever other businesses you have going on. So he does basically everything you're going to need as an Amazon seller, or if you're selling on eBay, doing multi-platforms, moving your Amazon items to eBay or vice versa, or anything to go along with that business, really, except for product sourcing. He does have employees that can do that, but of course, with product sourcing, you're going to have to really train them the exact way that you want to. So he does have a lot of qualified people that can do that, and I know that's what a lot of us are using VAs for, but we use them for all different kinds of things, a lot of account maintenance, and I've already found quite a few things that Nathan's company is going to be helping us with. So, once you start thinking about it, I'm sure there's a lot of short-term and long-term jobs that you may not want to do that you've been putting on the back burner like we have. And, we're really being able to tackle a lot of those things because the people are already trained. We're not going to have to waste time interviewing 100 different people that really aren't qualified, that just apply for every job that they see. And they just can't, they can't do what you hire them to do. So Nathan, why don't you tell us a little bit about, exactly what you guys do?
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. So first of all, I've been selling on Amazon for over 7 years. So I've been there, I've done that. I know I've hired hundreds of workers before. I got back on Upwork when it was Odes back in the day. So I've kind of had all those good and bad experiences that everyone else had. And I really wanted to create a better way. So right now you can go on all these different jobs. Even if you're looking for someone in the US, you can go on monster.com or internationalupwork.com. You post a job, like Shawn said, you get 100 applicants, you interview them one by one. And at the end of the day, you either make a good hire or a bad hire. And if you make that bad hire, it could not only hurt or jeopardize your company, but it could waste your time at the very least, or lead to more damages down the line. And if you make a good hire and one day they decide to quit or they just disappear, you're kind of out of luck and you find yourself right back where you started interviewing all these people. So that's what I wanted to create a better way for. So at FreeeUp, we get hundreds of applicants every week. We interview them one by one. We have a great interview process I created myself. We have 15 pages worth of guidelines, communication guidelines, that our workers have to memorize and get tested on, because we know how important communication is, especially if you're not in the same room as someone else. So we really stress communication because that's half the battle right there. And then from there, we make them available first come, first serve to our clients. So our clients like it because at any point they can be like, Nathan, I need a product sourcer, I need an Amazon expert, whatever it is. And we offer e-commerce workers from $5 to $50 an hour, both US and non-US, all remote workers that are just at your disposal, whether you need someone for a one-time project or a long-term position, and they become your worker. So that's the premise of it.
Yeah, that's great. That's exciting. And, I think the most important part is that, they're already pre-trained. So not only do you not have to waste your own time training them, but, you don't have to spend your money and all of those hours training them for a job that you want them to do, when you can hire somebody who already has experience doing that, reviewing your account, or, working on your Amazon reports. You already have people who are trained to do that, to get reimbursements or deal with bad feedback, where you would have to create your own videos and show them everything that you want them to do after you hire them, and you're paying them for all that time. So I think it's a much better option. You may pay them a little bit more. I mean, yours start at $5 instead of whatever you would pay them, $3 or $4, using a site like Upwork.
Yeah. And I mean, there's two types of clients that come to us. There are the clients that have these processes in place. They have these systems, they have these training docs, and they just need a good quality, reliable worker who's going to show up for work every day and really care about their company. And you obviously save money in the long term if you train them yourself. And we offer those workers as well. And then we have the clients that maybe have an area that they don't really know what they're doing, or they don't have the time to create the training docs. And that's where we provide the people who are already trained in PPC, SEO, optimization. Even if you get away from Amazon, stuff like social media, writing, content, stuff like that, people who have years of experience in the field who don't necessarily need any training and can start right away. Obviously, every client's business is a little bit different, whether it's Amazon, not Amazon. So we always recommend some kind of training, at least telling the worker about your company. And if it's an expert, they need that time to do research your competition, and come up with a game plan. But there's not that initial training them from scratch. You're not getting people who maybe worked on an Amazon account for 2 months, 2 years ago, and now they put Amazon on their resume. On top of that, the worker is going to speak great English. You also know that they're going to show up on time, and we're protection for the workers on the back end. So if our workers quit for any reason, which doesn't usually happen, but it is real life, life events happen, we cover all retraining costs. We get you a new worker right away. We make sure you're never left stranded. If it's an urgent task, we'll get someone right on it to make sure that you're not just going around on Upwork, finding the first person you can find. That awful experience where the worker quits. If you just need any consulting, any guidance, we wrote an ebook on hiring remote workers. Me and my team of 15 assistants are all there to help you along the way. And we're there to make sure you have a great experience with our workers.
Awesome. So are there any specific tasks that you really don't cover, that you don't offer as far as remote workers?
Sure. So the biggest thing we don't do is bookkeeping. We don't do anything with accounting or bookkeeping like that. Might be something we get into in the future, but we don't have any plans for it. Development work, anything with coding, we stay away from. That's probably a next year project to add to our team, because anytime when you're dealing with developers, you want to take the time to make sure that you vet and find the right people before you make them available. Anything with WordPress we can do. Anything Shopify we can do, just not hard coding. And then you touched on it, product sourcing. We have plenty of clients who use us for product sourcing. But if you're going to use us for product sourcing, make sure you have the training already there. You have exactly what you want. You can teach the worker almost from scratch, although they'll have past experience in doing it, because every client's different. And there's no my way to do product sourcing. It's not like I can just provide you a worker that can instantly find you great products to sell and make money on. You have to train them to look for products the way that you want to do it, using the software that you want to use, so it's specific to your business.
Right.
Nathan, I had a question too, and I can't remember if we brought it up when we spoke to you last, but is there a waiting list, or how does that work? If you always have people available, or say somebody, say you have 10 people come to you at once wanting, the same type of employee, how would you guys handle that?
Sure. Good question. So it's a constant supply and demand battle, right? Because we're trying to get enough workers so the workers aren't waiting around, but we also don't want clients to be like, hey, Nate, I need this, and we can't provide it. Right now, our turnover is quick. I think Shawn requested a worker for me the other day. I was out, but the second I got home, boom, worker was online, get going. 99% of our interactions are like that. We try to make sure that we have multiple workers for every skill set ready to go. Obviously, if our demand increases, which is a good thing to have, we're going to have to adjust for it on our end. But one thing that we don't want to do is expand this pool of people that we're taking, because right now we get hundreds of applicants a week. We try to take the best of the best. We don't want to take just anyone just to fill spots. So a lot of it depends on who applies, how much demand we get. We've yet to run into a situation where there's just this huge waiting list. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, I need 24 hours or 48 hours. We also have a lot of international clients that might message me in the middle of the night, and it takes me a little while to get back to them. And I have assistants that can help out as well. But right now there's really no waiting list. If you have a position that you need filled and you sign up, which takes about 5 minutes, you can get going with the worker with the same day, depending on if the worker's up at the same time as you, or my schedule and all that.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Great. Now, you said from $5 to $50 an hour, so that's a huge difference. So can you give us some examples of, some jobs that would apply to Amazon sellers, and, what kind of price range they would be?
Definitely. So keep in mind too, our workers are first come, first serve. So it depends who I have available. And sometimes I get even cheap. I'm going to give you the ballpark, but sometimes I get even cheaper. And if they happen to come across our team, they sometimes go quickly because we do have a lot of clients. But again, sometimes you might get people outside of the range. So if you're looking basic data entry, anything with product sourcing, any lower level work, basic Excel, stuff like that, you're in that $5 to $6 an hour range. Anything email, customer support based, international writing is kind of in that $6 to $7, $6 to $8 an hour range. If you want customer care with voice, which we do for a lot of e-commerce sites, probably $1 or $2 an hour more. Once you get into that $8 to $12 range, it's a little bit more skill, whether it's basic WordPress sites, a little bit better writing, more like basic Amazon managerial tasks are probably in that $6 to $10 an hour range for an international worker, depending on their skill set. Once you get in the $10 to $20 an hour range, you're talking about more expertise, international SEO, international Amazon, international eBay, all that, but more experts that can do PPC campaigns, optimize listings, and stuff like that. And then when you get into the $20 to $50 an hour range, you're really looking at US workers. So social media people with years of social media experience. We have Amazon experts that cost $40, $50 an hour that have 6+ years of experience and have worked with some huge companies. Same thing with eBay, WordPress, and then we have all range of marketing as well, types of digital marketing going up from $20 to $50 an hour in the US. So any skill set we offer, we have both a US and a non-US version, and it really depends on who's available for the rates.
Great.
And if there's any positions that I didn't mention, because I'm sure there is, feel free to type it in this chat and I'll give you a ballpark.
So I think what a lot of people may be able to use is, people dealing with product feedback on Amazon, processing the reports that they get, maybe, for overall profits that they're getting, things like that. What would those kind of jobs be running?
Yeah, those are probably lower level international if you want to go cheapest. Anywhere from the $5 to $15 an hour range, $6 to $12 an hour range is probably average, somewhere in there. I mean, we have people who can go through fulfillment reports and file cases with Amazon that are in the $10 to $15 range that have made some of my clients thousands of dollars back by just opening up cases. So that's kind of where you are when you're in the management stage, is a 6 to 12. And then if you want the more advanced, you can take your Amazon store to the next business. It's more of the 12 to 20. Again, it's tough to give ballparks because every once in a while I'll find an expert for like $10 and $9 an hour and they'll go quick. So it's a little tough with the ballparks.
Right. Okay, sounds good. What about Optimize Press? Do you have anybody that can do that? Optimize member.
Optimize what?
Optimize Press.
I don't know what Optimize Press is. No, that's just optimizing Amazon listings.
No, it's sorry, it's part of WordPress.
Got it. So I'm not a WordPress expert. We have people that can do everything WordPress top to bottom, as long as it's not hard coding. I have people who can do it. Same thing with building Shopify stores. I just
how about translation services?
Yeah, so and that's an area we're expanding on. We have people who can speak German, Italian, French, Spanish, all available to our clients. And that can even be a sub worker. So if you have a main, let's say you hire an Amazon expert for $30 an hour in the US, let's just say, you can hire a translator to kind of go underneath them and work as their assistant. And they're in that $15 an hour range. So it's a little bit cheaper because it's just the translation services.
Right. Because we have some clients who, actually, we have somebody who's looking for somebody to translate into Japanese because I'm not sure if they hired anybody yet, but translating to Japanese for the Japanese version of Amazon. And I'm sure, the German and Italian as well. So are you doing that for anybody yet, converting listings over to the international sites?
So I do have one person that speaks Chinese, but so this is kind of how we work. We're not a recruitment agency in the sense where you tell us what you need and we go find it and then we sell it to you. The people we give are already on our team. But if there is a position that we don't have, with your permission only, we will go out and find a person for you, put them through our interview process. And if we get someone that passes that we think is a good fit, we'll present them to you. So if you want us to do that work, we have a lot of clients who we've worked with for a while who trust us. And every once in a while, they'll ask us for a very low demand position. Or something that we just never recruit for that maybe has nothing to do with e-commerce. And we would go out and find that person and present it to them. And we've had a lot of success doing it. And we're always looking to expand as well. So if there becomes a high demand for the Japanese lister, I'm sure we'll add it to our team. I just made a mental note to talk to my HR team tomorrow. But for whatever reason, we just haven't had that request yet.
Yeah, we had a question. He wants to know if he gets to interview potential VAs and gets to choose who we want our workers assigned. But I think basically, could you go through the process of once I tell you who I want, what job I need, what happens then afterwards? Do you get to talk to them, interview them, or can you take the process for that?
Sure. So there's two types of clients. There are clients who have worked with us a while and they trust me for whatever reason. And the second I give them a worker, they're like, Nate, I've had a good experience before. Let's get started, get going. They say, Nate, add me into my time clock, and they go. Then there's the clients who do want to meet that worker. Maybe there's a little bit more specific and they want to get a good background for it. So we allow you that 10 minutes to half an hour period to meet with any worker before hiring them. You're welcome to meet with them about their experience, their skills, their background, all that. But they won't actually look at your account, do any training, do any consulting, or do any work until you commit to hiring them and they start billing hours. So that's kind of how we do it. In terms of will we send you 10 workers and let you interview them, it's really not what we do. But we're happy to send you 2 to 3 different workers if you want to make a pick. And you're welcome to talk to them and decide which one you want. I would also say 95% of my clients don't do that because they come to me to save the time of interviewing and they want me to send them 1, maybe 2 workers. But I mean, we're there to customize it as long as it's not something where you're just, my workers work for me because they don't want to spend all day interviewing, just like my clients come to me because they don't want to spend all day interviewing. So we allow that short period of time to meet the worker and ask any questions, but we also don't want my workers to just go interview to interview to interview all day.
Yeah, I was very happy with the process. I've talked to a couple people for different jobs. We already hired somebody, and I think they're already working on the project that we hired them for. So, it's a very quick and easy process. We've gone over again and again hiring people on Upwork. We've done, webinars teaching our clients how to do it, how to create the ads, how to talk to the people, so it's a very, very time-consuming job that, nobody really wants to do. The people, as you said, who are working don't want to do it, and, we definitely don't want to do it. It's really a colossal waste of time. So for just a little bit more money, I really think it's worth the trouble. And, for us, the kind of things that we're going to be using Nathan's for is really not things that I really would have went to hire somebody on Upwork for, especially if it's a short-term type of job. I wouldn't go through all the trouble. So, you should start thinking about the things that, may have been too much trouble to go and find somebody on Upwork to do the job. But if you could use Nathan to do just a short-term, type of job, then, it may be a great fit for you.
And it's tough too if you're getting into an area that you don't know anything about. If you don't know how to run Amazon PPC campaigns, how are you ever going to interview someone for Amazon PPC campaigns and be able to tell who's good and who's bad? So we have a lot of experts on our team that help us with the process and make sure the people that we're adding to our team are quality. And there's kind of that skill factor and then that reliability factor to make sure that you have a good experience.
Definitely. And, there's a lot of portions on Amazon that you might not know that, you can hire an expert to create your campaigns. Or do you have people that will teach them how to do things as well?
Yeah, good question. So that's kind of it depends on the expert. Some experts, they don't want to teach because they want to consult and they want to actually do the work going forward and they want to teach other people how to do it. Other ones are happy to consult or teach. So as long if that's something you're interested in, I do have people that can help you. It just not all of them are available to do that.
So if somebody wanted to learn more about pay-per-click campaigns or creating reports and what all the individual reports do on Amazon and all that boring stuff, as I call it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no minimum for how long you hire a worker, so you can hire one of our consultants for a 1-2 hour block, whatever it is. Ask them any questions. They'll go through your account with you step by step, and you can kind of use them however you want. And they'll even work with you to create a game plan that includes estimated hours going forward for different projects. And then you can tweak, you can improve, you can work on it yourself and have them on call when needed. It's really up to you how you want to go about it.
Yeah, that's definitely a great idea.
Thank you.
Do you have a list of the typical services you cover? If you go to the website, I think Valerie can put that up there for you.
I'm here. What was that?
Sorry, I'm trying to. There we go. Okay. I'll send in a private message to somebody. So if you go to freeeup.com, there is a list of the typical things that you may want to do as an Amazon seller and for eBay and cross-listing and pretty much anything you can think of is listed there.
Agreed. We're actually coming out with a new website redesign in 3 weeks that'll make it even cleaner and easier to use. Someone asked a question, never used a VA before. Is it mostly through video chat, phone, or screen share? So all our VAs have multiple ways you can contact them. Every client's different. They all have Skype, WhatsApp, Viber. WhatsApp and Viber are 2 free apps you can get on your phone. It's like texting international for free. They can also use Google Hangout. I try to stay away from any kind of video call or video screen sharing, especially if you're training workers, because the workers have nothing to look back on. It's much better to have a YouTube video pre-made or have text, some kind of writing the worker can learn about and then go back to refresh their memory if needed. But you're welcome to screen share or do voice calls if you want to.
Yeah, definitely. For all of ours, we've always used Screencast-O-Matic. It's a great, very easy to use tool. I think even if you want to buy the pro version, I think it's only about $15 a year. It's just lower definition, and you can log in. You can either give a link through their own Screencast-O-Matic's own servers, or you can upload it right to YouTube. You can upload. You can log into your YouTube account and then just upload the video right through the website where you record it. So it's a very easy process. And if you've watched any of my hundreds of YouTube videos, that's what we've used since the very first video we've made. So if you see me sharing my screen, that's Screencast-O-Matic. It's just a couple buttons. You select the size of the screen, and it's a very simple process. And then if that VA don't work, you already have that stuff recorded. So we'll screen share occasionally if we need to talk to them or correct them on something, but anything we want to show them or teach them, we create a video. So when we need an additional worker or they get fired or quit, eventually down the road, they're all going to leave eventually, then you'll already have that information to give to the next one, and you won't have to create that again.
David just asked, I'm interested in hiring people for product sourcing. You say I would need to train them, but they would have already had experience. Would I be able to see their resume or know what they've done in the past? Yeah, so any position, you really have the option of hiring someone maybe cheaper that doesn't have any experience, or hiring someone with experience. My workers are happy to send you their resume, LinkedIn, really anything you want that you could have access to. In addition, they won't share previous clients' information. So I wouldn't be able to share you any products they found for clients in the past or anything like that. We have strict NDAs with all of our clients. But within reason, you can see their resume, you can ask them about their history, and you would get someone who's actually done it before in some way.
Yeah, definitely. So, you'll be able to find out, the kind of jobs that they've done, but, not specifically who they've worked for, pretty much the same as it works with any company, just like Upwork.
Exactly.
And, for us, really Skype is really the best thing to use. Internationally, everybody uses Skype. I've tried to have them use whatever I use, and it just doesn't work out. So, I have Skype on my phone, and as soon as a message comes in, I can respond to them, or I can send them messages anytime. They're somewhere around 12 hours off, no matter where they're at. In the Southeast Asia area from, people we deal with in Australia, it's 14 hours ahead, to the Philippines that I think it's usually around 10 hours ahead of us.
Yeah, it's like 12 or 13, yeah.
So, you may be just getting to bed when, they're in the middle of their work day. So, having the phone app for Skype is great. We also have it open on the computer at all times. And you can do screen sharing right through Skype. It's completely free unless you're trying to make a phone call to a real phone number. So there's no reason not to be using Skype, but that's really the easiest way to communicate. They're already going to be communicating with other people. So if you want them to send you messages on Facebook or whatever you want them to do, they probably have Skype open all the time. So that's going to be the easiest way to contact them.
One thing that you touched on is the time zone difference. So again, two types of clients that don't care when the workers work as long as they get it done. Maybe they set a deadline, hey, get this project done within 24 hours. The worker can work on their time zone, no big deal. They submit it on time. Other clients, I have customer care clients we do 40 hours a week every week for a bunch of our clients that own their own website, and our workers will work on their time zone. So once you're a client, when you go to request a worker, you can tell me whether it's a flexible time or a set time. And as long as I know what that set time is, I'll make sure that worker is available during those times before I introduce them to you.
Right. So Steve wanted to know what kind of work I'm using VAs for. Now our traditional VAs, we have many that do product sourcing, probably about a dozen. And then we have a VA that does posting ads to Craigslist for us, which is probably only a couple hours a day. But we also have some that deal with the Amazon reports and negative feedback and opening cases for stranded inventory, missing inventory. They check our shipments, and if there's anything missing, they select the items and open the cases, and they check all of that every day. Negative feedback they check every day. So I have one person who does all of that now. I did have it split up, but it seems like once you have somebody in your account that's doing a good job, we kind of combined all of those jobs together. But even for a foreign worker, it's not it's not too hard to be able to do, all of that, even, especially the size of our account. And with your account, if you're just starting out or you're not a really big seller, then, you may only need them for an hour or two a day to handle all of that. So, anything that you don't need to physically touch something to do, then you can hire, a remote employee to do. Anything in your accounts, anything that you need, updating pictures. If you want somebody to go through your listings and, edit the pictures, make them look nicer, edit keywords in your listings, run your reports, check on all the things that I just mentioned. Any of that you do in your Amazon account that you don't have to physically hold something in your hand, do something to a physical product, then you should be hiring someone else to do. Because if they're paying, making $5 to $8 an hour, your time is worth much more than that.
Agreed. And one thing I recommend doing, especially as your business starts to grow and get more profitable, is create a list of everything you do on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis and prioritize it in terms of how much time it takes you and how important it actually is. And once you make that list, you'll notice right at the bat that you're spending a lot of time doing all these small tasks. And then you can start at the bottom of the list filling VAs to do all these tasks. Because really, if you want to expand your business, you should be spending 50% or more of your time expanding your company rather than doing the day-to-day operations over and over again. So just starting at the bottom and working your way up is a great way to add virtual assistants to your team while not just adding 10 people and entering utter chaos, but slowly building it up to make sure that your time just keeps getting more freed up.
Definitely, and that's what we've done. We only have, I do have some people doing product sourcing that are in the U.S., but a lot of them are foreign VAs now, just because the price difference. I can't, it's hard to find anybody that's going to do a good job even for $10 an hour, and you're going to find somebody in another country to do it for, way less than that to do a similar job.
Really agreed. And I have a lot of clients that use my VAs that have gotten lucky and they found a great VA they've been using for years for $2-3 an hour. And I mean, all the power to you. If you can spend the time and you can find that quality VA and train them, I mean, you're going to save a lot of money long term. Obviously there's pros and cons. The con being that if they quit, you've invested a lot of money, and you want to make sure to treat that worker well, I guess is my point. So maybe do a mixture of both. See what's out there, see if you can find a good fit, or if you don't have the time for it, use a company like FreeeUp to help make it easier and speed up that process. But it's really finding a good balance of workers that work for you. And like you said, sometimes paying that extra $1 or $2, which sometimes comes down to just treating your employees well over time. I know I always give out Christmas bonuses and stuff like that. Retention is always way cheaper than turnover.
Definitely. So I had some specific questions from Steve. He wants to know if most of my sourcing VAs are using tactical arbitrage or OA X-ray, and do you need to pay for more logins for that? So for us specifically for doing, I don't have anyone doing tactical arbitrage, but for OA X-ray, we actually built a free course that's on our website, ShawnMayo.com. You can log in there. You can see it for free. You don't even have to be a mastermind member. And we built a course on training your VAs or training yourself on using OA X-ray for product sourcing. So we do have quite a few that use OA X-ray, but most of those are U.S. People that are doing that. The foreign ones, Americans seem to get bored a lot easier than everyone else, I've found. So, comparing pages on Target to Amazon for 8 hours a day is not something that Americans do very well, in my experience. So the foreign VAs do a great job, and they'll do it 7 days a week and are very happy to do it for whatever price that we're paying them. So that's what we focused on. We also have some foreign VAs that are using OA X-ray, and we have some Americans that are using OA X-ray. Now, as far as the rules governing OA X-ray, officially they say you can have as many people use it as you want, as long as it is for the promotion of a single Amazon account. So you can have 10 VAs using it at the same time, as long as it's all for your account. So if 2 people are sharing it for 2 different accounts, then that's where you need to be paying extra. For tactical arbitrage, having a bunch of VAs is not going to help, because it's an automated thing that, I mean, you really only need to log into it once every 24 hours, because you can run bulk scans using the list that we've made, of course, to do scans for up to 24 hours before it times out. So, you know, you could have a VA log in and do that for you, but if you had 5 of them, you know, there's no point, because you can only run 1 scan at a time. So you can pay for extra uses of tactical arbitrage, but you know, then you could have you know, a VA for each one. But even in that case, I mean, you could have 1 VA working a couple hours a day, you know, and run 5 different versions of tactical arbitrage. So there's no point in having a bunch of VAs for tactical arbitrage, in my opinion, at this point. You know, what you can do is run your scans, and we do very big scans, obviously. And what we'll do is, especially for the Amazon flips, we already have VAs that are doing Amazon flips for us manually by searching Amazon. So we can download the list of all the output from tactical arbitrage, and then just send them that CSV file and let them go through it like they would normally look at the flips, and you know, narrow it down, you know, if there's anything that may not match exactly, or, you know, fit our qualifications, then they can remove those. So they're narrowing our list down for us. But we haven't given anybody access to tactical arbitrage. I know that they're very strict on the IPs, and they do block IPs automatically a lot, because a lot of the hacking attempts. But even in that case, if you contact Alex, you know, he'll unblock a specific IP for you if you have a VA working. I mean, he knows that people have VAs doing it, so that's not a problem. And but the multiple user issue really isn't an issue with tactical arbitrage.
Brings up a good point about software too. So I get a lot of questions like, do you have a worker for this particular software? And I mean, we have over 250 clients that all run different businesses, that all use different softwares and programs. So it's impossible for me to recruit and find people that are experts in every single program. So we more stick to the marketplaces of skill sets. Will the workers have past experience in programs? Will we try to get you someone that's using the program, or that's used a program in the past? Yes. But in the most part, if you have a specific software that you're using that you're in love with, be prepared to train someone to use the software in the way that you want it done, because it's very hard to recruit for very specific software positions.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you know, if you have a specific tool that you want to use, you know, OA X-ray or tactical arbitrage or any of the other sourcing tools, you know, you're really going to have to show them how to use it yourself. You know, there's so many other settings and so many things that are going to be specific to your business that, you know, you really need to know how to use a lot of these tools before you can show somebody else.
Agreed.
And the answer to that question, Steve, is no. We've already been through that, but, you know, I'm sure there's plenty of people on Upwork who could do what you're looking to do.
And going to coding, I think I mentioned this, but that's one of our top priorities going to the first quarter of next year. FreeeUp's kind of exploded this year in the short time we've been doing it. But we definitely want to offer coding to our clients. We know there's a lot of demand out there. It's more about protecting you guys and making sure that we have quality people ready to go, and not just rushing into it. So as we get closer to the end of the year, it becomes harder to add new services and different things for our clients. So look forward in quarter one, and we'll definitely reach out to different people if they express interest in it in the past.
Yeah, that's definitely great, because I've got a lot of ideas that I just don't have time to hire people for. as far as programming jobs.
Agreed. You can never have enough good programmers. I agree. It's the same thing for me on our time clock side. I mean, I could assign 2 years worth of work for it and it still wouldn't be done.
All right, great. So if anybody else has any questions, just shoot them in the chat before we run out of time here pretty quick. Anything else you'd like to add, Nathan, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I mean, we're all about making it as quick as possible for you guys. So when signing up is easy, it takes less than 5 minutes. We get your contact information, you sign our agreement saying you won't try to steal our workers and you'll actually pay for the work. Put a credit card on file that we don't bill unless you use a worker. And then at any point going forward, you have access to our workers. So it's free to sign up. Once you sign up, you have access to it. You never know when you're going to need workers in the future. Anytime you need a worker, you can Skype me, email me. We have a worker request form that's easy to fill out if that's simpler for you. And we'll be able to get you a worker quickly right away. We also have a pretty cool referral program if you want to save money on payroll. If you just know someone that's interested in hiring a VA and you introduce them to us, you get 50 cents for every hour that we bill to them forever. So we have a lot of clients who hire some VAs from us and then tell a bunch of people, and their invoices are discounted every week because of it. So we're trying to make it as easy and as cheap as possible for you to hire great quality workers for your business as it grows. And if you look at it from my perspective, we only make a percentage. We make a percentage of every hour worked, and so it's in our best interest to find you VAs that you like going forward. If you hire someone and fire them after 2 hours, there's no benefit for us. So we're really on your side. Me and my team of assistants are on your side. We're trying to find you VAs that you can grow with over time that'll really help your company, that'll stay with you. We have a very, very low turnover rate. So we're trying to make it as the best experience possible for you, essentially.
Awesome. Yeah, so definitely go sign up, even if you don't have something today. I'm sure in a couple days you'll think of a ton of jobs that you need somebody to help you with. It's just we'll post in the link again, and it is FreeeUp with 3 E's.com. Don't forget to mention my name, so I can get some free stuff.
You get 10% off your first worker just for naming Shawn's name.
Right, you're gonna get 10% off if you put my name as a referral, and I'll get some free work too. So that's about it. And thanks for coming, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Nathan.